And then one day, and I saw this happen, there was in the playground, like a guy from the year above. He wasn't that big, but he was a nasty little, and he went up to Bones and he was like, yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, don't do that.
And Big Bones was there going like this, and all of a sudden he wouldn't take it any longer. It was the moment. It was like Thor's lightning came down and struck him, and he went like this. He went, boom.
Dude,
with these big arms, and he knocked this bully from the year above him.
Love it.
On his ass.
Everybody loves it.
And I was sitting in the playground and I saw this happen, and it was like the world changed for Bones. And Bones started playing in the rugby team, and he was all of a sudden became kind of like a man. And for better or for worse, he became strong.
I never did that part of my life until as a youth. I did not do the like punch back thing. I waited until I was in my 20s. I wish I had done it though early.
I don't know. You got to talk to Bones.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you know, he then went on to become the biggest guy. You know, like you know, I think he had a little bit of help from the stuff that makes you big. But he became a giant of a man. And I remember I won a modelling competition when I was 19 that took me overseas for the first time to London.
Beautiful, beautiful man.
Yeah, but after my mother and everything had died, and I still had the scar on my face from the car accident, right? But I got back to Newcastle a few years later, and I went to this local pub, and Bones was the security guy, and he was massive. And I was like, Bones? And he was like, yeah. Not Bones anymore, you know? And I didn't see him for years later, and then I was in New Zealand filming Spartacus, and they said we're doing this Germanic tribe, we're going to show up. You know, these Germans were going to show up, Germanic tribe. And one of the actors was Bones. He came onto the show.
Dude, look at this. Very cool.
And he came onto the show as this guy called Sedulous. And in this particular scene, he was raping Navia.
Dear God.
And I went up and tried to fight him, and he backhanded me, and I went flying. And then in came Spartacus, Liam McIntyre's Spartacus, not Andy Whitfield, Liam McIntyre. And Liam McIntyre came in and did this big slice with his sword, and he cut the face off of Sedulous. And Sedulous's face went flying like through the air. Spartacus was fantastic with this thing.
I need to see the show, brother.
Yeah, I know, that's fine. But anyway, but when he came to do this filming, I said, come to my house, brother. Only days beforehand, Peter Jackson had flown me to Wellington to try out for Azog. And I'd gone down to Wellington and I'd been like, you know, and I'd done this whole audition, right? And here I am sitting with Bones at my house. I'd invited him for dinner, and we're sitting there eating, and he suddenly said, oh, Manu, I just got offered a role by Peter Jackson. And I was like, oh. And he said, and I said, what role? And he said, the King of the Orcs, Azog. And I went,
oh, that's terrible, man.
And you know what I felt the worst about is I never told Bones that I'd auditioned. I didn't tell him. And but anyway, so Bones went down and he filmed for the 2 or 3 years that I think it was 2 years that it took to film The Hobbit, right? And I'm nearing the end of Spartacus 2 years later, and my agent calls me and she says, Manu, we just got a phone call from Peter Jackson. He wants you to go down to Wellington to play Azog. And I was like, wait up, my friend from school got this role as Azog. And they said, yeah, but they weren't happy with it. Like, Peter Jackson got to the editing suite. Bones had to wear this big outfit, like giant costume. They had to put him in makeup 6 hours every morning. He was exhausted by the time he reached the set. Then he had to do these fight scenes in all this weight and prosthetics and sweated. And anyway, the camera comes close. If you ever saw Lord of the Rings, you know, some of my friends played the orcs. And when the camera came in close, it was like, there was nothing you didn't have subtlety of expression. You know, unfortunately, makeup hasn't come far enough to do a great orc. So Peter Jackson decided that Arzog should be done in motion capture. Went back over his audition tapes and decided that I'd given the best energy for Arzog and that he would film me in motion capture.
Oh, that's rad. So was your face, forgive me, were you then all like green screen, like those little dots all over your body?
Yeah, all over my face, yeah.
And then
you wear a helmet and it's got a camera that's extended by an arm that films all the little dots on your face.
So it's seeing every expression of yours.
If I go,
yeah,
right,
that's a good move.
Arzog would wink, right? But also it films your eyes. Your eyes are the eyes of the character, right? So, you know.
So your eyes are on the screen.
Oh yeah. Andy Serkis.
He's incredible.
Remember King
You guys
Kong?
know who Andy Serkis is? Yeah.
I met Andy at the...
He's here right now. Come on up, Andy. Oh, Andy. Okay.
I met Andy at San Diego Comic-Con at an HBO party, and then I met... anyway. But when I met
I want to
Andy...
go to the end of that story. After another game of tic-tac-toe.
It was Joe Manganiello who's going to play Deathstroke in the
He's
movie.
a big boy.
Same party. Very strange. Strange memory. But anyway, Andy... I said to Andy, the best part of King Kong was that scene where the ape was, King Kong sat down on a cliff. He put Naomi Watts in the cave and she was unconscious and he was a bit bored. So he went and sat on the cliff and he ripped a tree out. And he started eating it like a piece of celery as he watched the sunset. And the camera came in close. And like what I was telling you before about the signal, the quiet moment where there's no words, Andy Serkis was sitting there going...
Some internal moments going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was putting the energy out without words, putting the feeling out of that moment of emptiness for the ape. And I said to him, that moment in King Kong I thought was incredible. That moment where you're eating the tree. And he said, yeah, listen, like when you do it, it's like, you have to put this other dimension onto your acting. You become an animal, you become a beast, you become whatever, but still the spirit has to come through. Hi, Daniela.
Hey, gang. How are we?